quite fitting. It is 10:02. Okay.
He's on
Now
the
you
way.
made his head this big, so.
No. All right. Well, welcome everybody to Commissioners Court. As per usual, we will begin with an invocation followed by the pledges. Dear Lord, I come to you this morning and thank you for the start of another day and another week. We thank you, Lord, for your many blessings upon us. Please be with us in the decisions before us today and in our many activities in the week ahead. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Our next item on the agenda this morning is citizens' communication. So anyone with us this morning that would like to address the court on any county business that's not individually listed, you are welcome to do so at this time. Mr. Vondereau, come on up.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Michael Vondereau. I live at 2107 North Bend, Jordan. Just wanted to wish everyone a happy belated Father's Day, because a lot of people put Mother's Day ahead of Father's Day, and it should be equal. And also, it's very hot and stuff, and I remember I was spraying for bugs at the apartment, and I weighed 299, and after 4 hours, I went to 295. I lost 4 pounds of water just in 4 hours, and I thought it was the diet. No, it wasn't the diet. It was just the heat, And people, a lot of times, they're not drinking enough fluids before they work in the hot sun, and they need to stop drinking beer the night before because that dehydrates them. A lot of people don't know that. They should be drinking, a lot of Powerade or Gatorade the day before, because by the time you have a heat stroke, it's too late. And I'd like to thank Marie Casera. She's a nutritionist. She came to the library and made some free meals. She had lasagna with deer meat in it. It was very good. And anyway, the parks, I would like to have things fixed. The Silver City Park, it's not in the budget for them to fix it this year. And I was watching the news, and there was a net that was in bad shape, so I went and replaced it myself, because it's not within their budget. They can't afford $6.46 to get a net and stuff. I understand that. And anyway, the other rim, the little doohickeys were off, so I got a tie wrap and fixed it. And I would like people to put some money into Silver City Park, known as Martin Luther King Park. They got a lot of bad publicity at the city council and KABU 25. And anyway, the apartment I live in, management is turning a blind eye to rats and mice. There's trash all over the place, mattresses all over the place. One mattress is under a waste management storing receptacle. I don't know how a mattress get underneath it, but I have a problem with mice and roaches, and they're charging us $8 a month to spray, and then they're not spraying. And I don't think that's right. They're charging us $8 and we're not getting no service, and this been going on for years and years, and management has turned a blind eye. I don't know if the health department can help with these rats and mice or code enforcement. Despite code enforcement coming, it's got worse. And I would like to hold the management at Summerstone Apartments, 2107 North Bend, Jordan, accountable. And this Wednesday, there's a get-together at the VA on Navarro. It's 9 to 1. If anyone has problems or issues or and they're going to have a free meal. So if someone wants to go there, it's 9 to 1 this Wednesday. Thanks, and have a good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vondero. Other comments? Good morning, sir. If you can just give us your name for the record, please, and you've got
Sure.
up to 5 minutes.
5 minutes, oh, good, I can fill that up.
Plenty of
My
time.
name is Joseph Napolitano, and I live at 602 West Goodwin Avenue. And after moving here, I found out that that's, almost everyone knows that home. It's the old McCann House on Victoria and Goodwin. And we felt very fortunate to be able to move to Victoria when we retired, and we look forward to spending quite a bit of time here. The reason I'm here today is that item 21 on the agenda says, receive application for tax abatement from Blue Ammonia and take appropriate action. It should read Blue Energy, not Blue Ammonia. And on the agenda packet, it references Blue Energy. We're requesting that this be tabled for today and moved to next week so that the agenda that's posted can actually reflect the work being done. And I would like to add why it's important to us is that this is a pretty packed room right now, and if we had time to mobilize the people who are in opposition to this abatement, we would have this room filled up with another 25 or 30 citizens to give their input. So to be clear, what we're requesting is because of the mistake in the posted agenda, we asked this item, the abatement for Blue Ammonia, which should be Blue Energy, be shelved for today or tabled and posted for next week's agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Other comments this morning in citizens' communication?
Good morning. Sorry,
morning.
I had no idea I had 5 minutes. I would have written way more.
We
Actually,
allow plenty of time, so.
perfect. I'm Jewel Buchanan. I'm here as a concerned citizen. And my comments kind of take off of what the previous speaker said. Last week, I saw the agenda. Joseph shared it with me because we have people that look at all the agendas so that we can all know what's going on in our community. And the agenda item reflected Blue Ammonia. So I started doing my due diligence, looking to see what permits Blue Ammonia had put in, and I printed out the agenda. It clearly says Blue Ammonia. And so as I was working on that, I couldn't find any permits or anything related. And then, you know, we had the Father's Day weekend and all of that, so I sat down to look at the agenda packet to learn about how much water they needed and things like that. Well, imagine my surprise when there's nothing about ammonia in there. It is 6 different applications for permitting. The first one is a request for an abatement for the gas-powered turbines that will be in place ahead of the modular nuclear reactors. The next 5 applications for an abatement are all various phases of the small modular nuclear items. So then I thought, well, that's weird. So I went back and I checked the agenda, and Ms. Easley had posted it on time, and it says nothing about this energy situation that is in the supplemental material. So I'm here respectfully requesting that you table this item. Further, I printed out some of these. I mean, you may already know this, but the Texas House Committee on Natural Resources is having a public meeting tomorrow in Austin where people can submit comments. And I have copies for all of you guys if you're interested with the email addresses. But their focus is our natural resources, primarily our water use, with respect to these AI data mega centers that are coming in and how that's going to affect our aquifers and our communities. So I feel like that would be some great information for the commission to have before moving forward. Further, I've attended 4 so far, my 5th tonight, groundwater conservation meeting in the area. And so far, Victoria, Refugio, Texana, they have all put in a moratorium effective until January 31st on all large water permit applications so that they also can do more research and find out how this is going to affect our communities, our water wells, our farming, our ranching. So all of these things go to my request that you respectfully postpone item 21 and let us all together learn more and get more information before we offer any abatements that may need to be adjusted later. Further, as the previous person said, there are several coalitions in Calhoun County, Matagorda County, Victoria County that have many concerns about the AI facility and the methods used to power it. And having those people able to come here, they were I had people, and this is bipartisan. I got involved with this through a Republican group concerned about Synergent. And then a lovely Republican lady invited me to hear Sid Miller and Clayton Tucker in Bay City. And this is bipartisan. Everyone is concerned about these AI data centers and how they are popping up everywhere and how they're affecting residents, our property values, our cattle, our families, our waters. So that's it in a nutshell. Please consider my request.
Thank you, Jewel.
The Open Meetings Act is important.
Other comments this morning for citizens' communication? Morning, Karen.
Hi. Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm just coming to let y'all know and let the public know that everyone is invited this Thursday over to the Patty Dodson Public Health Center, Classroom A. The League of Women Voters is sponsoring an open house and meet and greet so the public can come and see the elections equipment, make sure their registrations are up to date, ask any questions they have. We'll have representatives from both the Republican and Democratic Party there. They can learn about those. They can learn about the League of Women Voters. And we just want to have that opportunity for the public to engage with the elections office.
What time?
It is from
2 to 4?
2 p.m. to 6 p.m. and it's a come and go. There will be cookies and lemonade. So hopefully that'll entice some more people to come out.
Very good. Thank you, Karen. Other comments for citizens' communication this morning? All right, anything up here? If not, we will move right along in the agenda. Item number 4 is to consider approval of minutes and take appropriate action. Each of you have a copy of those minutes in your agenda packets.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item number 5 is to consider approval of accounts payable and take appropriate action.
Accounts payable for June 22nd, 2026 are $608,483.08. Supplemental payments are $463,958.76.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 6 is to receive monthly and quarterly reports from various county officials and departments and take appropriate action.
We have one from Constable Precinct Number 1.
Move to receive.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 7, consider approval of bond forfeiture releases and take appropriate action.
None at this time.
Very good. Thank you, Belinda. Item number 8 on our agenda is to consider approval of Citizens Medical Center interim vendor payments and take appropriate action. We each have the June 18th memo from our hospital, Citizens Medical Center, showing interim vendor payments in the amount of $230,048.68. The hospital's ACH report on that same date totaled $3,665,114.35.
Move for approval. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item number 9 underscores some of Victoria County's rich history. 9 is to hear a proclamation in honor of Juan Linde and take appropriate action. For those of you who have been coming to our commissioners' courts for a while, you'll know that Victoria County was one of the original 23 Texas counties that go all the way back to the Republic of Texas when the Republic won its independence from Mexico in 1836. The 23 municipalities that existed under Mexican rule at that time became the first 23 counties, and Victoria County right here was one of those. So we have a lot of rich history going back a long way. And this proclamation is to highlight and commemorate one very notable individual, in this proclamation is for Juan Lin Day. It reads as follows. Whereas John Joseph Juan Lin, a pioneering businessman, public servant, leader in the Texas Revolution, and historian, was born in June of 1798 in Ireland and died in October of 1885 in the log home he built near this very courthouse. And whereas Lin set up a mercantile business in New Orleans in 1822, became interested in Texas during business trips to Mexico, and came to the Victoria area in 1829. And whereas he was fluent in Spanish, became a Mexican citizen in the De Leon colony, and as a trusted friend of the De Leon family, became known as Juan Lin. And whereas Juan Lin established business contacts and connections ranging from New York to Mexico City, and constructed Linville as a port of entry on Lavaca Bay. And whereas as alcalde of the municipality of Guadalupe, Victoria, which later became Victoria County, Lin played a pivotal role in the 1830 struggle for Texas independence. And whereas Juan Lin was a vocal opponent of the dictator, General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, and helped organize against Santa Anna by writing to Stephen F. Austin's colonists. And whereas he, along with James Kerr and Thomas Western, Juan Lin was able to successfully negotiate a treaty of neutrality with the local Karankawa Indians in October of 1835. And whereas while chosen as a delegate to the Independence Convention at Washington on the Brazos, Juan Lin's duties in protecting Victoria from advancing Mexican forces prevented him from being present on March 2nd, 1836, to sign the Texas Declaration of Independence. And whereas Juan Lin served as quartermaster of the Texas Army under Sam Houston, acted as an interpreter, and personally interrogated General Santa Anna after the Battle of San Jacinto. And whereas in 1883, Juan Lin published his memoirs, which are significant for their detailed descriptions of the Texas Revolutionary period. Now therefore be it resolved that the Victoria County Commissioners Court does hereby proclaim today, June 22nd, 2026, as Juan Lin Day in Victoria County, and we urge all our residents to reflect on the local leaders like Juan Lin who were willing to risk greatly to ensure our freedoms today. Do we have a motion to approve this proclamation?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. And thanks to, I don't see Jeff Wright here, Jeff and Chris for putting that together in all of its historical detail.
Yes, unfortunately, on that size of proclamation, we could only list about half of Juan Lin's accomplishments.
Well, thank you, because it was lengthy, but wonderful. Always happy to read those.
Chapter 2.
Chapter 2 next week. All right, item number 10 on our agenda is a public hearing, and that is pursuant to VTCA Transportation Code 251.151. Hold a public hearing on proposed changes to traffic regulations in Victoria County Precinct 3 and take appropriate action. A public hearing is now open for the purpose of that discussion. I see this was publicized in the newspaper as it's required to be. Commissioner, do you have anything on that?
No, we'll just wait and see after the public hearing and give everybody that's here an opportunity to come up and speak if they so wish.
And this is a speed limit change going from
55 to 45.
55 to 45 miles per hour. Okay. Anyone wishing to speak? Yes, sir. Come on up. If just give us your name, please, for the record.
My
And
name is David Huber. I'm a lifetime resident of Victoria County. I've lived on Kemper City Road and on San Antonio River Road presently. 78 years old. I've been there a while. The proposal, as I understand it from Commissioner Martin, is to reduce the speed limit on Kemper City and San Antonio River Road to 45 miles an hour. That correct?
Correct.
Okay. In my opinion, I would have expected you to represent all of the community out there, and if it isn't broken, don't fix it. So I see this as an unnecessary change and a burden on our back and forth activity. I don't want to be sitting there looking at my speed limit on my speedometer constantly. I like to drive the roads. Those roads are narrow. There's bridges out there that are way too narrow and should be replaced already. But I would have expected to see a community survey, and I'd like to have had a consensus of the neighborhood before a change like this is made. I know of no record of problems with the speed limit on that road. There may be, I haven't heard about it. I've driven them my entire life. You have to drive the conditions. And I'd like to see, in conclusion, I applaud your budget focus and your infrastructure attention, but I really oppose changing the speed limit out there and posting a 45 mile an hour. I would go along with, according to state laws, I understand it, that speed limit now is 60 day, 55 at night. I Googled it. Okay. I would not mind seeing a 55 mile an hour sign out there, but I'm opposed to a 45. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huber. Other comments related to this hearing item? Yes, sir. If you just give us your name, please.
Yep. Judge, Commissioners, my name is Steele O'Connor. I live off of 9810 San Antonio River Road. I own and operate 2 properties off the San Antonio River Road across from McFadden. I'm here today to discuss the 45 mile an hour change. I am for it. There are 3 main reasons for that. Number 1 is that road is just too narrow. You have to straddle the road to allow other drivers to pass, and especially, when it is raining after a big rain, the puddling, you hit those puddles at 55, 60 miles an hour, you can get yourself in a bind in a hurry. Number 2 is the low spots and the blind spots. So the specific blind spot that stands out the most to me is the one that's down the road from that VEC substation. When you're going downhill, you can't see anybody coming uphill, and vice versa. The person who's downhill going up, I've seen people cut that corner at 50 miles an hour multiple times. So that's another area where you could really get yourself in a bind. And number 3 is the wildlife. So on that road, especially by that cotton field again, over by the substation, there can be 30 to 40 deer in that cotton field at one time. It wouldn't be as much of a problem if they were staying in that cotton field, but unfortunately they're constantly crossing, going into the river bottom. And so at night, with limited visibility, you're going that fast, you can hit a deer pretty darn easy, and so that could cause problems. You have either hit the deer or you have the dirt and a fence line to your left or to your right. So I've done an informal poll. So far in the last 3 days, I have 24 people. To my surprise, it's unanimous. Everybody would see the benefit of lowering the speed limit. I drive that road every day. They drive that road every day. I've got employees, I have hunters, all of that. They drive it day and night, and they have the same concerns that I do. So, I don't really have much else to say. That's really it. Just wanted to come here and voice my concerns and leave it up to everybody.
Very
So
good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Other comments for our public hearing? Good morning, Constable.
Morning, Constable.
My name's Kenneth Easley. I'm the elected constable for Precinct 3. And the reason I'm here today, I didn't even know it, but my mother was the first one to let me know that it was on the agenda. So, and then I got to talk to some other folks. I got to talk to them, and they wasn't very happy about the speed limit. You know, San Antonio River Road and Kemper City Road are two different complete roads. Kemper City Road's a lot bigger road. It's a lot straighter. It certainly doesn't need to be 45 miles an hour. I mean, I don't want to drive 45 miles an hour on it either, personally. As far as San Antonio River Road, I've never had any complaints about traffic on San Antonio River Road or Kemper City Road. I had one time, we had a lady that was always driving fast, and I finally called her and wrote her a citation, and that was the end of that. But I've been in office 21 years, and I've talked to at least half a dozen people in the last couple of days, because I didn't know about it until Wednesday. I called Commissioner Martin and talked to him about it. But I can't see any reason why we need to lower the speed limit, and that's my professional opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Other comments for our public hearing this morning? Good morning, ma'am. If you just give us your name, please.
Good morning.
My name is Patty Easley, and I'm lifelong property owner on San Antonio River Road, and I live on Kemper City Road. And this was a big surprise to me, this speed limit. I am not in favor of it. You need to drive the condition. If it's dark and late, drive 45. Don't want to hit a deer or a hog. But just changing this without everybody in Precinct 3, I think it ought to be put on a ballot and voted on, because people that have lived out there and do live out there, they know how to drive. So I think that y'all need to consider having everybody in Precinct 3 vote on it, and then you would know for sure. And I don't think you should fix something that isn't broken. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Other comments for?
Readdress the court if you don't mind.
Sure.
I kind of wanted to ask if there'd been a traffic study, because that's one of the things, 251, 154B, in determining the maximum reasonable and prudent speed, the Commissioners Court shall consider all circumstances affected segment of the road, including the width and condition of the road, surface, and the usual traffic on the road. Do we know how much traffic goes down the road every day?
I don't know the exact number, but I
Yeah.
do know that,
I mean, y'all done a study?
No, there wasn't a study done, and you know that, Ken.
I know
There
that. That's
wasn't
why
a
I'm
study
asking.
done.
That's why I'm asking.
Okay, well, you finish what you have to say,
Okay.
and then I'll say what I have to say.
Okay. Thank you.
Other comments for our public hearing?
Judge, this is Avery. I'm going to add
Where are
just
you?
a few items to clarify. As mentioned earlier, the prima facie speed limit is 60 miles an hour. That's for unposted areas. Where we have posted speed limit signs, those govern. Under that same Transportation Code, Chapter 545, it also states that operators may not drive at a speed greater than is reasonable and prudent under the circumstances then existing, which I think is, reasonable judgment of an operator operating a motor vehicle. And so part of that has to do with multiple hazards, as mentioned by citizens and, our knowledge of the roads. San Antonio River Road represents an open grazing area. We have open cattle guards. That livestock does pose an issue and a hazard to drivers. We also have non-standard intersections, particularly at Kemper City Road East and South, that are not traditional four-way stops. For drivers that are unfamiliar with the area, you can certainly see how a reduced speed might be prudent, and those not paying attention to their speedometer may have an issue interacting with other members of the public that may be more familiar with that area. I take very seriously my oath in public safety and protecting public safety. And so I would certainly always recommend and side with public safety in a discussion with reducing speed limits. I think certainly it would be prudent to perform traffic studies to understand the number of vehicles that are local residents versus unfamiliar drivers. However, I would say, given the conditions of the road, the alignments, and the additional hazards present, both vertical alignments, horizontal alignments, and additional livestock, I would certainly support reducing speed limit, if nothing else, and for those unfamiliar with this area. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Avery.
Thank you.
Other comments in the public hearing? Yes, sir. Come on up. If you just give us your name, please. Welcome.
Yes, my name is Jason Huber, and I live out on San Antonio River Road. Lived there most of my life. I'm 50, and I lived on Kemper City Road till I was about 6, and been on San Antonio River Road ever since. And I am opposed to reducing the speed limit out there. Over time, the roads have improved. The roads are wider. Previous comments spoke on some areas where the road is narrower and where there are some fields that have animals and wildlife that do come out in the roads. That's all over Victoria County. You can go on the loop in Victoria and see all number of dead deer out on the highway. So, I mean, just living in Victoria County, you have to watch for wildlife. But the areas where I heard previous comments talking about concerns is only about 3/4 to a mile long stretch of San Antonio River Road, and to my knowledge it's somewhere around 12-13 miles long. And then Kemper City Road is considerably longer and wider than San Antonio River Road. I've never seen any incidents of people having issues out there with the roadway, or we have a lot of courteous people out in the county. And most of the time when they meet other individuals coming, they slow down, move over. Everybody gets along out there with what's there. And as to driving to the conditions of the road, if lots of people are uncomfortable with the conditions, it's rainy, there's a lot of animals out, it's super dark or whatever, people slow down. I mean, there's no reason to reduce the speed limit if the conditions are good and in areas where that's, the roadway is capable. There's plenty of warning signs, to my knowledge, down San Antonio River Road that explain to blind corners or sharp corners or anything else. And it's just a matter of driving to the conditions, I don't think that 12 miles of San Antonio River Road should be reduced to a slower speed that's not necessary for the conditions of 1 mile down at the other end of it. So, in conclusion, basically, I'm opposed to it and think that it should be left as it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Other comments this morning in our public hearing? All right, seeing nothing else, the public hearing is now closed, and we are on that item for the court's consideration.
I have a couple of things I'd like to say, Judge. First of all, good morning, and I want to start out by saying that I appreciate and respect everyone's input and opinions. We're all entitled to those, and thank you for coming up here and sharing those on both sides of the aisle this morning, and I appreciate that. This concern was brought to my attention as a safety concern in this area, and as public safety being at one of my highest priorities for me, I went out to these specific areas with my road and bridge manager. We drove these areas multiple times over and over at different speeds. That being said, after comparing that to other areas with roads within Precinct 3 and Victoria County, there's no other roadways like that with a unposted speed limit to my knowledge. I took all this into consideration, also including the areas of the said roads that have still open cattle grazing, so you have cattle crossing the actual roadway, and as somebody brought up earlier, the abundant amount of wildlife out there. That being said, I'm in agreement with lowering the speed limit to what we have proposed. And I want to say one other thing. The ball is the ball is right here in this court right now. And I'm going to say this, I have a feeling that whether it's 6 days from now, 6 weeks from now, or 6 months from now, there's some type of tragic accident out there, God forbid, it's going to be on my back resting here today to support this or not support this. And that's another reason that I'm going to move forward and support this. And it's strictly for public safety. I have a feeling that if something like that occurred, I'd be the one sitting up here by myself having to explain that to everybody. And I don't think there'd be anybody standing by my side on that. And I don't want to be put in that position. Again, this is strictly in concern for public safety, and I'm going to make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the part of the court? If not, all those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion approved. Thank you very much for those who came here. I reiterate the commissioner's comments. We do respect the feedback we receive here, but given the totality of the circumstances, obviously the court voted in favor of that. And so that's what we've done, but appreciate everybody's time. Moving on in the agenda to item number 11, that is to consider approval of the reappointment of Dr. James F. Newman, MD, to the Citizens Medical Center Board of Managers and take appropriate action. His appointment was up ends this month, and he indicated a willingness to serve again. And so we can reappoint him if there's a motion to do so.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item number 12 is to consider approval of Crossroads Defenders Temporary Supplemental Funding Modification Number 2, Grant Number TR-26-007, and take appropriate action. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. A real simple one
Morning,
here.
Brian.
This is just a modification of our grant. This is a zero match grant, so there's no money coming out of the county's pocket for this. We had to cover some fringe benefits. I want to thank the auditor's office, wonderful, working through a lot of our grant issues and helping with TIDC. This is just raising the grant award by $9,000, again, just to cover fringe benefits. There's no match on this. This is all state grant money. So just asking for the court to accept the award.
Move to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you,
Thank you, Brian.
Item number 13 is to consider approval of the purchase of 10.01 acres of unimproved property from the estate of Thomas L. Stern in connection with the Victoria County Regional Public Safety Training Center, and authorize the county judge to execute any future related documents. Hello again, Avery.
Morning,
Morning,
Avery.
Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Got a few items here. The first being item number 13, as introduced, Judge. The purchase price for this property is $125,125. It's an additional 130 feet of road frontage extending all the way back to a rear property line for a sum total of 10.01 acres. That additional acreage is needed in our Regional Public Safety Training Center facility project to accommodate the safe layout of several live fire shooting activities. This will allow both greater operational capacity and safety for employees and visitors using those facilities when it comes time to construct and then eventually operate them. We will be purchasing it from the adjacent landowner. It's currently cropland. There are no improved structures on that. We are still determining final cash to close and the exact closing date, but we would like to ask for your approval to authorize this purchase.
Move for approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved.
What's going on here?
Item number 14 is to receive for the record the following documents from Logger Companies, Inc. in connection to the Victoria Regional Public Safety Training Center project and take appropriate action. A is change order number 3, and B, change order number 4.
Yes, sir. So both change order 3 and 4, we're receiving those for the record. Number 3 is a couple of items. It's a credit for several windows that we deleted due to constructability issues, and the credit was a nice bonus on top. That was about a $1,300 credit. We had to replace surge protection for the entire electrical service for the building itself. That was an add of about $2,800. And then we had additional electrical revisions to add new power drops and new data drops in various areas to accommodate SO equipment within the facility. That was an additional add of $5,500 for a total add to the contract of $7,090.34. Change order number 4 is in total a credit. We needed to run power back to the existing septic system. The panel nomenclature, the records that we had from the existing building were not abundantly clear. Turns out one of those breakers that was removed early in the project during demo happened to be the breaker that was feeding the septic system, so we had to repower that. That was an additional additional cost of $1,867. And then we received a credit for insulation not used under a previous allowance granted to our mechanical subcontractor for a total credit back to us of $5,700. So that's a total credit back to the project of $3,832.
Move to receive.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Moving right along to item number 15, that is to receive for the record SGP-004-ASI001 kitchen equipment deletion credit from Spall Glass Contractors, Inc. in connection with the Victoria County Mental and Behavioral Health Facility and take appropriate action.
So this is additional good news. ASI, I want to point out, stands for Architects Supplemental Instruction. It's a package of additional guidance issued from BSA, who's our subcontracted architect firm, through Spall Glass. They issued additional instruction to bidders during the formation of the GMP price. Essentially, they had looked at our 100% CD drawings, and at the time there were conflicts with our MEP drawings as they weren't fully fleshed out. Bidders noticed a lot of these conflicts and raised multiple questions during formal RFI processes. Those questions were answered in a complete package titled ASI-01. One item out of ASI-01 was a credit back to us for kitchen equipment that will not need to be used. That has a total credit amount that will come back to our owner's contingency line item of $46,010. So a pretty substantial credit and something that we will not need to fund at this time.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. And let's see, I guess you've got the next one as well, Avery.
Yes, sir.
So number 16 is to consider approval of a road use agreement between Victoria County and High Fuels Green Lake Wind LLC in connection with the development and construction of a wind-powered electric generating facility within Victoria County and take appropriate action.
So, Judge, I'm going to give a quick introduction to this item, particularly focusing on the road use agreement. And then we've got a few folks here in attendance, particularly Denver Bain with Nova Clean Energy, who is representing the developer here. I'd like to give him an opportunity to speak to the project itself following that brief introduction. And then we also have Thomas Gooch from his law firm who helped prepare the agreement itself. I want to give Thomas a major shout out. We did some pretty significant revisions to our standard road use agreement that I think have made this agreement much friendlier to both developers while maintaining the integrity that we need to in order to hold bad developers or irresponsible developers accountable. In particularly, conceptually, we removed the term length for the cash bond agreement. So we will still be requiring a cash bond for the initial construction period of the project. That amount is still our standard $50,000 that we have previously requested in other agreements. However, rather than leaving that bond in an account for the duration of the project, which is a minimum of 30 years pursuant to their lease agreements, which have an option to be extended should the project remain in operation, you can imagine that that's a lot of time for accounting to take place for people to remember that those funds are there both on behalf of the developer and on behalf of the county. So in recognizing that, what we have done is broken it up into several sections. So during construction, we will post that cash bond. the activities will commence, and then other terms of the road use agreement will govern the inspection and repair of any roads that are damaged as a result of the activities authorized on the authorized haul route for the project. When construction is complete, we'll be given notice, hey, construction is complete, at which point we will assess the roads, proceed with any damage repair as necessary, and then the cash bond will be returned to the developer, similarly to the end of the agreement of our standard agreement. We return the cash bond and any interest back to the developer. This is a much shorter time window. It's could be 2 to 3 years, and so it represents less liability on behalf of the developer. We will then add 2 different cash bond requirements. So any intermittent use over the lifetime of this agreement, should additional aspects of the project need to be maintained, and those maintenance needs requiring the use of heavy haul, they will execute a similar cash bond for a similar amount or other amount as determined appropriately by court. So say we have changes in economic conditions, 10, 20 years from now, $50,000 may not be enough to cover us. And so there's language in this agreement that allows us to negotiate a fair and reasonable price for the cash bond for that intermittent use. The terms of the agreement then fully apply. So we'll have an additional pre-construction meeting followed by an additional assessment, and then the activities will proceed very similarly to how they did in construction. We'll close that out, assess any need for repairs, and then return the cash bond. That same exact process will continue when we receive notice from the developer that the project will be decommissioned, meaning all improvements removed from the project area. So we have 3 separate cash bonds that are being implemented at the time that they are needed, rather than holding on to one that may be insufficient for the duration of the project itself.
Okay.
That's the material difference between our standard road use agreement that we've executed previously and this version. That required a lot of definitions, a lot of changing.
That was a
A
lot.
lot of additional content. So I really, I cannot say enough good things about Thomas and his group and the preparation of this agreement. And I'd like to, at this point, give Denver Bain with Nova Clean Energy an opportunity to address the court and describe the project.
Avery, I do have a
I have,
Yes, sir.
go ahead. I got some things to say about this.
good job, but on the inspections and assessments, is that us? You're talking about inspection and assessment will be done, is that by us?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So during the pre-construction period, we received notice 30 days prior to the commencement of construction, at which point we organized a pre-construction meeting with the contractor hired by the developer. So the physical people doing the work, at which point we co-assess the conditions and we document that. So traditionally, we've used a drone flight. We'll use a drone flight or a similar video taken from a motor vehicle by a passenger. That video evidence will document the pre-haul condition of the road.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Avery, so is this road use agreement just for this particular project? Or are we talking about across the board?
Correct. No, this is just for this particular
Okay,
project.
because I have many comments on that, but if it's just for this one,
Yes, sir.
I don't have a copy of that in front of me. Was that,
Yes, sir.
Down
There
there?
should be, it should have 5 signature tabs. I dropped it off right before.
oh,
copy.
okay.
yeah.
Ah,
My thing is that well, if we're talking about this, I understand this one's just going to be utilizing gravel roads.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Yeah.
Malik, Sunray, and Lander Road in
Okay.
Precinct 1.
I sat in on a couple of those meetings for Danny, and that's how I realized that when you were out. And, on a gravel road,
Yeah.
we can talk about it, but, yeah, I don't agree with this at all, if it's a different situation.
Correct. And it
Yeah.
is not a
That's why I
standard-
wanted to make sure we weren't changing
Correct.
anything on that, yeah.
Yes, sir. No, this is particular to this project.
10-4, that's what I needed to know.
Denver, good morning.
Good morning,
Welcome.
Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Thanks, Avery. Just to give you a little bit of background on the project, I think you've talked to B&B, the predecessor to Nova Clean Energy. I'm here to represent High Fuels Green Lake Wind LLC. I work for Nova Clean Energy. This is a 74 turbine GE 3.8 154 meter rotor project. It bisects Highway 87 just southeast of Placido, and it actually bisects both counties. It covers 20,000 acres, and about half of that is in Victoria County. The other half is down in Calhoun County. The only county road use that we have for the project on deliveries for those turbines and for construction equipment is going to be Malik, Lander, and Sunray Road coming up off of State Road 616. So I'm working closely with the TxDOT representative here in Victoria County to work through the agreements for TxDOT. And yeah, this will enable us and our construction partner, Blattner Energy, to get everything delivered and constructed. They plan to be on site in October, starting with some civil work, so some of the roads and access roads to the turbines, digging some foundations. And then I expect construction will take through the first quarter of 2028. So like Avery said, this road use agreement will be in use for probably 2 years. We're ready to wire the funds, as soon as we get the wire instructions. And yeah, any questions?
I
on
don't
what we're
have
trying
any
to do?
questions, Denver. I know a lot of it was covered in some of those meetings. Avery has done a great job of putting something together with the help of the attorney. I'm just glad that we're finally putting these things in order to protect us and the public. And if you're in agreement with it, I'm good with it. So if that's the case, then I move for approval.
I'll second.
Let's see, Thomas, anything to add? I know I echo the thanks. We've been relying on you more and more recently with so many things going on, and
I appreciate the opportunity to work with you guys. It's been a lot of fun.
We appreciate your help, we do.
This is I agree with what Avery said. The change to this agreement, I think, is going to make it significantly easier on the developer to maintain their requirements, because it's not an ongoing cash bond that has to be kept out there. There will be times where the project will not have activity on county roads, and the cash bond will not be needed to be held. Conversely, this also protects the county, because if you were to maintain a $50,000 cash bond over a 30-year period, by the time it comes necessary for decommissioning, that may not be an appropriate amount. And so this agreement allows you to negotiate at that stage an amount of a cash bond that will adequately protect the county.
okay.
Thank
So
you.
for folks watching online, maybe not familiar with the process, a road use agreement is one of the few tools the county has to make sure that the road is left in good condition. It lays out requirements, and so it's an effort, a mechanism to protect a public roadway. I mean, more or less, that's what it boils down to.
Correct. And there's just a lot more heavy haul traffic on these roads than what
Yeah.
county roads are built and designed for.
Yeah.
And we need to protect them. I think it's a good agreement for this situation with the gravel roads.
Good work,
Judge,
guys.
I'd like to add just one other thing to that too.
Yes, sir.
Is that to date in our conversations surrounding the road use agreement, so talking about preliminary pre-construction activities, the company has placed a big emphasis on wanting to maintain the integrity of these roads and in our public right of way. And to date, they've been great stewards of that and wonderful to work with. So I just want to add that as well.
I can vouch for that. Thank you, Avery.
Very good. I believe we had a motion and a second.
Yes.
Is there
Yes,
any
sir.
additional discussion or questions for Denver or Avery or Thomas? All right, if not, all those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you. You're still here?
One more.
All right. Been busy.
Yes, sir.
Item 17 is to consider approval of the following in connection with the Victoria County Mental and Behavioral Health Facility Project. A, amended electric service agreement with the Victoria Electric Co-op. And B, intent to waive eligible reimbursement of pro rata portions of contributions in aid of construction. What have we got here, Avery?
Yes, sir. So this is in connection with the electrical easements that are needed for offsite distribution infrastructure to be extended by Victoria Electric Co-op, coming from some lines that they own near Brentwood, south of US 59 Business, and taking those up to our project site. The first item, sub-item A, the amended electric service agreement, we had previously passed through court the electric services agreement and the member services agreement last fall. This is an amended electric service agreement to reflect a change in the contributions in aid of construction that represents a $58,000 increase. $15,000 of that was for assessed railroad permit fees from the railroad to VEC, and so that's a reimbursable cost that would be added to that contributions in aid of construction. And then a $43,000 increase in materials and labor associated with the route for extended electrical service. So putting pen to paper, we have exceeded the estimate that was included in our original agreement, and this amended services agreement simply reflects that total. There are no other material changes other than the dollar amount. Sub-item B particularly references communication that we've had with our adjacent landowners. Representatives from those property owners that have been in negotiations with us for portions of the easement that are needed have requested a waiver of connection fee. And while there is not per se a connection fee, for a period of about 3 years, I believe, from the point at which we extend the service, we are eligible to receive reimbursement from the co-op for any person or entity that might connect into that extended infrastructure, where they would pay their portion of the cost to extend that service. In exchange for the easements that we need to be able to extend that service, those adjacent property owners have been asking for a waiver for that reimbursement, which means essentially we have paid to extend that electrical service, which is necessary for the project, but then we would have paid for their extension as well. Now, I would like to point out that if they were to develop in 5 years, it wouldn't apply. We would have eaten the cost anyways. So it's really a hedge against connection within the next 3 years. And it's a single landowner that's requesting this. So we believe in communication with Commissioner Sexton that we would like to offer this for all adjacent landowners that are going to be granting us easements, even those that did not negotiate for it as part of a good faith effort for those residents.
Makes sense.
Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
I mean, Danny, Commissioner Garcia has,
No. I said-
I thought you were like waving at me. No.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
No.
All right, all those in favor of approval, section A and B?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved.
Thank y'all.
Finally got rid of you.
Yeah, there you go. You can sit down now.
All right, item number
Busy boy.
18 is to consider approval of an amendment to the listing agreement for the Mission Valley Clinic located at 8410 FM 236 and take appropriate action. This, of course, is the county's, or the hospital rather, the hospital's clinic that we have Jimmy Zaplak, who's listed the sale for us. That agreement with him ran out, so this is just, as I understand it, renewing that. Is that right, Madison? Okay. Jimmy will continue the efforts of keeping that listed for a sale.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. And if anyone is interested, we've lowered the price to $399.9. It's a deal.
There you go.
All right, item number 19 is to discuss and consider the following proposals in connection with the Victoria County Archives relocation project and take appropriate action. A, Metalink for the installation of wire mesh cages located at 311 East Constitution Street. And B is Iron Mountain for the relocation of county documents to the new storage facility, also located at 311 East Constitution Street. Who is speaking to that?
I will, if you want me to.
Please, I
know
haven't
we'd
been
looked at
involved
it.
in that.
I know we'd looked at it a long time ago. We discussed about moving everything from over here at the annex to 311, and through working with Iron Mountain. They're the company that's going to securely relocate all the documents. Metalink's going to build the cages for it. That's basically what this is about. It's come to fruition. Avery, you have anything?
Just to add, both of these projects, I believe were discussed, in connection with that archives relocation project. Both vendors are on purchasing cooperative. And I'd like to add that the relocation of the files is pursuant to other state and federal regulations for access of controlled and confidential information. And so your standard moving company does not possess the certifications or licenses needed to be able to relocate these files and provide secure oversight of them. So there are very few companies that do this, and we've been in communication with them through a purchasing cooperative.
Yeah. All right.
So Avery, it's my understanding from what you guys just talked about, that you guys have already talked to these people, or have y'all met with them?
Iron Mountain?
Yeah.
They've made about 5 different visits.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I could be exaggerating, but it's at least 4 that
Yeah,
I
they
can
were
remember.
responsive, and also too, I mean, they're a known commodity. I've had good dealings with them in the past, so.
Yeah, they seem to have it together. I don't have any concerns with them.
Yeah.
Commissioner, there has been a significant amount of due diligence as it comes to meeting on site with representatives, going through the records so that they have an accurate idea of both the furniture and number of documents that need to be moved. And we feel as though they have accurately assessed the moving path from the basement of the courthouse to the records location and the freight elevator. And so we believe that this proposal is accurate.
It's a secure path. And
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If none, then all those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item number 20 is to consider approval of the biannual food vendor bids for the Victoria County Sheriff's Office and take appropriate action. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning. How are y'all doing?
Morning.
Morning,
Doing
Sheriff.
well.
This is just the biannual bid. We have a vendor change on this, but it's lowest bidder.
Well, that's simple enough. Do
Yeah.
you have any exciting news for us?
Anything good?
No, just excited about the training project as we move forward.
Yeah.
Yep.
Avery's put a lot of work into it. And it'll be nice to see it come to life. It'll be a good.
Yes, indeed, and
Yeah.
I normally point it out when we bring it up, but when the smoke clears and this project's complete, this is going to be one of the few live fire shoot houses
Yes, sir. There's
in
only
the entire state.
I think this will make 5 out of the state.
Wow.
And we're also entering in some other stuff down the road that this facility will help with VISD as far as we're getting licensed with TCOL to provide the marshal training program.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to do that in-house, and that should help all the school districts. We have 4 school districts in this county alone.
Right.
As well as the neighboring ones. So, there's lots of positive things that are going to come out of this for the region because of this project y'all have all supported. So I appreciate that.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Move to approve item 20.
Second.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 21 is to receive application for tax abatement from, and as correctly noted, there is a error on this agenda. We have blue ammonia. That certainly should be blue energy. We scanned all the correct and accurate documents into the packet. We can discuss receiving that, not receiving that momentarily, but certainly at this moment, we want to have some discussion on this project. I know this has been in the works for a while, Jonas. I'll give you the floor, let you introduce the representatives from Blue Energy and hear a little bit about the project.
Yes, Judge, Commissioners, thank you so much. And once again, happy Father's Day to everybody. Hope everybody had a good day yesterday.
Thank you. Same to you.
As the Judge said, this has been a long time coming. This represents years of work. And I also want to point out that this is, certainly an opportunity that not only VEDC is excited about the potential to consider, but so are our partners at the port, and we think the county as well. This is a testament to a lot of work over a long period of time and relationships built by this commission's court. This project began as a different iteration years ago, and as market conditions changed, I think a lot of the good work and relationships that you all built allowed us to remain kind of under consideration when this project when a different iteration of this project became a possibility in current conditions. So I want to thank you all for that. That was long before I came to Victoria, so obviously you all left a great impression, and the community. They left a great impression. It's a great place to invest and do business. This represents a once-in-a-generation infusion of investments in jobs and green technologies. Our staff is preparing a more robust economic impact analysis that would be very happy to share with you all, utilizing the same software that the state does, very complex, comprehensive software that allows us to look at different phases and the full costs and benefits of this project. I also just want to thank Blue Energy for being a great corporate citizen as they have been going through this deliberative process as they've been trying to evaluate, make sure that this is a bona fide site and a bona fide project. They've been building relationships with not only with our educational partners in Victoria College, Texas A&M. This also could be a potential absolutely game changer for the Bloomington School District. We're excited to be standing by, staffing when and where we can, and make sure that the community and our side at VEDC is doing everything in our power to allow us to hear about the project and see where this deliberation and where this potential investment might go and the benefits that this can have for our community. So with that, I'll turn it over to Tom O'Neill.
Good morning, Tom. Welcome.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you, Jonas. My name is Tom O'Neill, and I am the Chief Commercial Officer for Blue Energy. I'm here with my colleague, John Beasley, and our tax advisors from Merit, Darren Fredrickson, and Mike Rivera. Thank you for the opportunity to present our 312 abatement application to the court this morning. We are very excited about the possibility of bringing firm, reliable, zero-carbon nuclear power to Victoria County. I want to make very clear that we have not yet made a decision to proceed. We are taking the necessary first steps, which involves the kind of things that you've seen, some drilling on the site to understand the characterization of the ground suitable for nuclear power, work on water, which I'll mention. And so there's a diligence process that we have to go forward with. And at the same time, we have to take the steps and be in front of the community, and I'll say a little bit more about that. I personally was part of the Exelon team that was down here 20 years ago. I led that project when I was with Exelon Corporation that looked at Victoria County for a power plant. I know what a great host community Victoria would be, and I hope we're able to move ahead with this one at this time. I would also ask that you please proceed with this item today, notwithstanding some of the comments we heard. I know there are questions. You know there are questions. You've been getting them. We will be increasingly in front of the community once we firm up our plans in the coming weeks and months. We look forward to the interaction with the community, with all members of the community, to explain what we're doing, to provide factual information, to hear the concerns of the community, and to make sure everybody knows full on what we're about, what we're not about, and so that everything is clear as we move forward on this long-term project. It's not easy to build a nuclear power plant. And one reason that we don't see more of them being built in America is because the way we've traditionally built them is very expensive, it takes a long time, and they're hard to finance. The whole mission of Blue Energy is to change that. We will reduce cost and schedule risk by using a small modular reactor, or an SMR, this one made by General Electric, which is a long-time supplier of the industry. The technology is not new. It is a slimmed-down version of existing technology. And we will also build the majority of the power plant in very large modules and then assemble them on the site. And this super module technique has proven very successful in the liquefied natural gas industry, successful in reducing costs, successful in compressing schedule, successful in bringing first-of-a-kind projects to Texas and Louisiana, and it can work here to bring affordable nuclear power to South Texas. A small modular reactor, as I mentioned, is just a newer, smaller version of a tried-and-true light water technology that GE has made for more than 60 or 70 years. Many of these boiling water reactors, as they're called, are in service today, providing nuclear power that provides, in my state where I come from, Illinois, 50% of the power. They're smaller, which means they're not as expensive to build. They're very contained, and they have added safety features from what you think of Most notably, they have a passive cooling system, and all that means is that instead of relying on pumps and motors to circulate water around the reactor core, they rely on natural forces like convection and gravity, excuse me, to circulate water. So if there were an event where there was a loss of power, the heat and the gravity, these plants are designed to circulate water, and they're very safe in that regard, particularly if there were to be any kind of incident. The industry has a great track record of being safe, it's secure, it's regulated. The reactor itself will be below grade, and we'll be happy to talk more about nuclear safety, nuclear security, as we get further into the project. And the NRC, of course, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, provides regulatory oversight of all those issues. There is still a lot of financial risk to bring a nuclear power plant to any community, and what we're proposing to do with our methods hasn't been done before. We're a startup company. We're backed by venture capital. We've assembled a world-class team of experienced nuclear professionals to try to do what I just explained, to build a power plant, a nuclear power plant that can be affordable. But we still have this first-of-a-kind financial risk, and our 312 application before you, which we're presenting, is intended to help reduce the financial risk. It's intended to help us bring private capital to the project so that we don't rely on taxpayers and ratepayers to backstop risk. That helps keeps our costs down so that we can deliver power at an affordable price. Even with the abatements that we are applying for here, the project is still estimated conservatively to pay approximately $1.5 billion across the county, college, and school district over a 25-year period. About $650 million of that is to the county and the college, $280 million of which would be paid during the incentive period. The tax support that this project will provide will be transformative to this community. The project will create jobs. We estimate about 3,800 direct construction jobs at the peak, which is projected to be in 2029. We estimate 1,800 indirect jobs, which are the jobs that follow on from bringing these people into the community. And importantly, the power plant, when fully constructed, we estimate will employ approximately 360 people in permanent jobs. These are high-paying jobs. The average salary of a nuclear power plant worker is about $140,000 a year, and these are long-duration jobs. This plant will have a life of 60 years or more. This is the kind of place where people who live here can establish a career and stay here. It's the kind of project that can attract people to come here, raise a family, build a career, and become important contributors to the community. We understand there are questions about water usage. We are working with the Port of Victoria to utilize permitted water from the deep saline aquifer. There would be a developer to build a desalination plant so that we don't take water from existing resources. Blue Energy would be a customer of that developer, and we would buy water from that developer and use that to essentially condense water that flows through the power plant operation. Any water that would be returned to the industrial barge canal will be tested to ensure the quality is as good as or better than what is in there now. We understand there are questions about the data center that Crusoe Energy is proposing to develop in adjacent Calhoun County. One reason the data center is important to Blue Energy is because data center operators need power, and they're prepared to pay for the power. And we need a customer to buy power so that we can finance the plant, the power plant that I'm talking about. And when big data pays for power, that means we rely less on other sources like communities. Our power plant will be connected to the ERCOT grid. We will be supplying power to the grid in addition to the proposed data center. Our power plant will support the ERCOT grid by providing power and also providing services like voltage support and redundancy to make the grid more robust in this area. And a more robust grid provides more pathways for electrons to flow. It reduces congestion on the system, and that helps keep electricity prices low for everyone in the surrounding communities. I know there are a lot of questions about data. As I said, there's a lot of information and a lot of misinformation out there. I expect Crusoe will be answering those questions in due course as they do their due diligence. There's a whole lot more that we will talk about and we can get into as time goes on, but for purposes today, I thank you for the opportunity to present our application on the 312 abatement. I look forward, along with the Blue Energy team, to having a robust dialogue with the Commissioners Court, with the individual commissioners, and with citizens and members of the public as we work to advance this project and hopefully are able to construct, build, and operate firm, clean, reliable power that will be beneficial for this community and for South Texas. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Mr. Neal, have we met?
We have, sir.
We have, right?
Yes,
You
sir.
look familiar. So what's on the agenda is just to receive an application. No decision is going to be made.
That's my understanding, Commissioner.
Yes, Commissioner, that's
Yeah, we're
correct.
just
That's
accepting.
correct. And,
Yeah.
and admittedly, again, there was an error in the name on the agenda, but our practice of receiving the application early on is not a statutorily required part of the process. Whether we receive or don't receive doesn't affect the court's contemplation and eventual decision on an abatement if the court chooses to do so. It doesn't affect the timeline.
Judge, the only thing I would ask, just for clarification for the folks that were up there talking about it earlier during citizens' communication about the error, since we do have both of our attorneys here, is it something that we can't do because of the error?
Sure, Thomas, Jim, we'll see if y'all's answers match up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's see who. All right. So, thank you. Although I was not involved in the Blue Energy project and I know nothing of the underlying tax application, the question you're asking about the Open Meetings Act is a straightforward question. You're asking whether or not the technical error on the agenda prevents you from taking action on receiving the application today, and the answer is it does not. As you know, the Texas Open Meetings Act requires that you post the date, time, location, and topics to be discussed at any meeting. That last item is very broadly written in the statute, and the Attorney General has interpreted it to mean that you must provide adequate notice for a member of the public to decide whether they want to attend the meeting in order to contribute to, as you saw today, to the discussion of the board. It is my opinion that this is a minor technical error that does not impact the ability of the public to understand what you guys are doing today, and you can proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Jim, do you concur, or should we have a private discussion?
Thomas, I slipped in behind you. Two lawyers concur? You kidding me? Yes, as to the result particularly, I would point out to you that receiving an application is not a statutory requirement under Chapter 312 or other statutes applying to tax abatements. This is something that you have added in the interest of transparency. It's not even in your guidelines. So you actually could take this action under item 6 as well, where it's receiving a report. So if you take no other action than receiving the application, yes, I concur that you may do so today, regardless of the posting error.
Okay, thank you for that, Thomas and Jim. And even with that feedback, I don't want to be at all dismissive of the issues that were raised. This is a discussion and a process that will, even after today, have multiple opportunities for public feedback. I know if the court does proceed with an abatement application, we would post a hearing notice and then eventually have that hearing and vote on it. So that's at least 2 opportunities to speak to it. And of course, additionally, in every Commissioners Court meeting, citizens communication, 5 minutes, anyone who wants to speak to it. So again, I'm not dismissive of that. It was an error and an error on our end. Our goal in receiving these is to enhance conversation and debate and transparency, not diminish it. So I apologize for the mistake. Sure, that's
Step up.
appropriate. If you come on up, Jewel, so everyone can hear you.
My first comment goes to the legal standpoint of the Open Meetings Act. We were more concerned with the take action upon the abatement because honestly, an ammonia plant and Blue Energy, those are two totally different audiences of people who would come with concerns. So that is the primary problem, just to be basic, problem with that agenda item. If all you're going to do is receive it and not act on it, I don't know that there's a problem with that, but I'm not an attorney.
That's the only action we're contemplating today.
Okay.
And frankly, even if the court opted not to receive it, we're still going to put a copy of that application in the minutes, in the record for public review. So it doesn't matter which way we go, but that's the only action we would take.
Okay, and just a little clarification. I'm not anti-development, and no one that I know is anti-development, but the problem is this energy company that's looking to come in is not coming in to help little old ladies not have air conditioning in the summer. This is not coming in to make sure the grid doesn't come down. This is coming in solely, just if you look at the internet, they're a partner with Crusoe for an AI database. And that's why I brought up this hearing. And I did not leave these with you, but I can give them to the secretary or whomever. But that's the whole point of this. This company wants to come in to power an AI data compound. It's not coming in for any other reason. And if they don't even have the customer yet, because we've got a hearing, we have groundwater conservation people that are going to be looking at water usage, I feel like it's a little bit early to even be thinking about abatements for something that might not even necessarily need to be here. And I heard from Jonas that this has been something that's been going on in the works and it's kind of changed. So perhaps this energy company was coming in to power homes and to power existing infrastructure. That might be a different discussion. But as it is now, it's relevant to the AI discussion that is very much opposed bilaterally across the state, actually across the country. So that's, we need to have the correct people here in front of you to express their concerns, whether it's an ammonia thing or an AI thing or a nuclear modular component. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Additional questions for Tom or feedback for Tom? This is an early discussion on this item. As I mentioned, today's action would just be to receive that. It's at this point that Commissioners Court would begin the process of evaluating the application, the project, contemplating the request for an abatement. And again, there will be multiple opportunities for public feedback and in conversation. Yes, sir, if you want to come up to the mic, if there's an additional comment to make. And it's Mr. Napolitano, I believe.
Very close.
Okay.
Napolitano. Napolitano's good enough.
Okay.
Okay, look, if it doesn't matter if you accept it today or not, right, that you can just file it, do whatever it is you said to do with it, right? I would urge you as an act of good faith to not accept it today, because we did not have the people here that we normally would have for something like this. And even though there are going to be additional discussions on it, our voices were silenced. So what I would urge you as an act of good faith to the community is to not accept the report today and to move it forward to another meeting. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anything? Yes, Tom, sure.
Thank you, Judge. The only comment I want to make in regard to Ms. Buchanan's comments is that there is a very important fact about our power plant. We are connected to the ERCOT grid. Other power plants, there has been discussion around the country of so-called behind-the-meter connections, where there is a power plant that provides a private line to a data center to develop. That is not this. We are connected and will be connected to the ERCOT grid. That means that when the data center isn't pulling power, which they don't do all the time, power from this project will be on the grid. Well, that's just true. They're intermittent power users, and there's excess power. It goes to the grid. The power actually will go to the grid, and then the power purchase agreement for the user is a financial transaction. What's important about that is there is grid benefits. This is not solely for the use of an AI data center. It certainly has a primary use of that, and I won't walk away from that. And as I mentioned, we have to be able to finance this power plant, and we need a customer who's willing to do that. So we're going to have a lot more discussion about this, but I would urge you to keep an open mind. There is a lot of information, as I said, misinformation about what this is and isn't, that will all come out over time. I thank you for the opportunity to present and look forward to discussions, as I mentioned.
Very good. Thank you, Tom. Yes, sir. Jonas?
Yes, and may I just, real quick, you know, you all have an established 312 tax abatement policy, and as all programs and policies that you all create, I think you hope that they are utilized. And so as your attorney, Jim Ellison, said, actually putting on the agenda, accepting an application is an extra step that you all take that you are not necessarily required to take or is legally mandated. I mean, theoretically, anybody could submit an application on any given day of the week and have it before the court for your consideration, or get it in all of your hands for consideration. So this is a step on the agenda that you all do to basically notify the citizens of where you are as far as projects received and what's under consideration. But, you know, with all policies, anybody can submit an application at any given time. And I think creating a policy and having it utilized is the goal and the want of this court. And we're happy that we have somebody that wants to hopefully utilize it. So.
Thank you, Jonas. Yes, sir. Final word on that, then we will move forward.
You know, around this issue, whether it's data centers or what Blue Energy is doing, people consistently say there's a lot of misinformation out there. If these SMRs are connected to our grid, right, SMR's power is significantly more expensive than what we pay for kilowatt hour right now. And had we been aware earlier that this discussion was going to take place today, I would have those facts and figures with me. And as Jewel mentioned, we're not opposed to development. I'm a licensed master electrician in the state of Texas. I made my living doing construction work and development. But what kind of development do we want? And we want people who are going to factually be clear with us about what they're doing. And I have to say, I resent being told that there's a lot of misinformation coming from the other side on this issue. Everything that's been said here today is factual. Originally, this was tied, Blue Energy and Caruso were tied and published in journals as happening in the Port of Victoria. Yet when we bring that up, we're told we're giving misinformation. We didn't say it came from the Commissioner's Court. We said it came from industry documents, right? Now this is going to be in Calhoun County with Caruso. We don't want this stuff. We don't want it in the Crossroads. We don't want it in the Golden Crescent. And the only reason they're here today, as Jewel said and other people have said, is because they have a customer. Now, if that customer goes away...
If you can wrap it up.
Okay, if that customer goes away, who's going to be stuck paying for this expensive power on their utility bill? It's going to be us, right? It's going to be us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Given that discussion and hearing all of that, I'm comfortable with receiving it today. It was our intent and our plan and our process. We had an additional person?
Yes.
Yes, sir. If you come on up and give us your name for the record. I didn't see you back there. I thought everyone
That's
had.
fine.
Yes,
No,
sir.
I was going to stay quiet and just watch, but my name is Jonathan Carbajal, and I'm from Victoria, Texas. I spoke with him a few times, Mr. Shannon Martin.
Yes, sir.
But my thing is, man, I'm hearing a lot of due diligence, but then how come there wasn't due diligence written down? And, you know, make everything very informative for, like Ms. Jewel said, so people who are more concerned about if you would have worded it the other way, and people like me, had I known what y'all wrote and y'all had wrote it correctly and did that due diligence, then I would have came here with a better speech. But I really just came here to talk. I didn't really have much to talk about, but I just asked, man, to be more transparent with the people, because I mean, it may not mean nothing to everybody, but it means to a lot of the community people that I've been talking about and that I've been hearing about. And just by those little simple words that mean nothing to some of the people who are trying to enforce this, it means a lot to other people who would have showed up had you worded correctly. That's all I got to say.
Understood.
Just
Thank you,
please be
sir.
more transparent.
Thank you, sir. This agenda item and putting this on the agenda is what puts a copy of this in everybody's hands, which will be available in the minutes. Personally, I'm comfortable receiving this. There will continue to be discussion and opportunity for discussion on this. This is the start of this discussion, not the end of it, and there'll be opportunity for that discussion along the way. However, it's up to the court whether we receive it or simply acknowledge it and still put it into the record immaterial. What's the will of the court?
I think, that we show our transparency by receiving this through the court as opposed to just somebody putting it on the, filing it. Like Jonas said, you can do it either way. And, we bring it before the public. This is strictly receiving this only. We're not making any decisions.
Very good. Is that a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion to receive.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion? All right, all those in favor of receiving this tax abatement application from Blue Energy signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Thank you all, and we will continue on in our agenda. Appreciate those in attendance today, and we welcome the continued dialogue. Item 22 is to consider approval of the following detention and/or residential contracts in connection with the Victoria County Juvenile Justice Center. A, Ellis County, B, Hidalgo County, C, Potter County, and D, Wharton County.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 23 is to consider approval of resolution number 2026-072 for a road donation from Emily Escalante valued at $575 for a pipe culvert on Park Street in Bloomington.
Move for approval. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item number 24 is to consider approval of personnel changes and take appropriate action. Gianni, what have we got? That sounds familiar. And you reviewed that, Madison? Okay.
It is typically a grant-funded position retiring after a lot of years. The department chose an internal promotion. And with the cost training of the company, the retirees been unable to use all of their PTO hours. So they're requesting to pay out the balance and asking the court to provide the funding from general fund.
So is this the only item on number 24 we have
Yes.
today? Okay. So 24 pertains to this one item only.
Okay. Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 25 is to receive for the record discretionary budget amendments, if any, and take appropriate action. I see one from the Criminal District Attorney's Contraband Forfeiture Fund.
Move to receive.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 26 is to consider approval of a 2026 budget amendment or amendments and take appropriate action, and each of you have a copy of those in front of you.
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved.
Excuse me, Judge. Can I verify that there was an additional budget amendment added for the purchase of the land?
Yes.
Okay. And once that's approved, that'll be budgeted and we can go ahead and make that transfer.
I have a copy of that somewhere in my packet. I saw it this morning, and yeah, there it is right there.
Okay.
There it is. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
All right, we already voted on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll each need a signature on each of these. Let's see here. Our next item on the agenda is a closed session for numerous reasons. But before we get to that, we're going to take about a 5-minute recess. When we return, we'll go into closed session for a lot of different topics. After we adjourn from that or come out of closed session, I don't anticipate there won't be any action on the part of the court. But for the moment, we will stand in recess for 5 minutes.
Thomas, can I see you for a minute?
Belinda over here? Where is she? Oh. Over here. Okay, we are coming out of recess for agenda item number 27, and that is a closed meeting pursuant to VTCA Government Code 551087 to discuss economic development, 551074 to discuss personnel in various departments, 551075 to discuss boards and commissions, 551072 to discuss real property, and 551071 for a consultation with the county's attorney on matters protected by the attorney-client privilege. The time is 11:42, and we'll go into closed session now for those purposes. All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, we're coming out of closed session at 1:05 PM. Agenda item 28 is to return to open meeting and take any action deemed necessary. There is no action we need to take, and we will stand adjourned now at 1:06 PM.